All right, we're on to golf advice here. We are in the Pinehurst Village
This is on YouTube.
adjacent. We're adding this now YouTube every week. We're throwing up golf advice. I don't know why, just to people proof of life. See how we stumble and bumble our way through this on video format in addition to audio.
One
format.
of the reasons I like it is that I feel like other people have better advice than we do.
Well, we were just with some folks. There was advice. We had one woman who's here. There's a For the Ladies event here in Pinehurst.
Yeah.
And this woman who occasionally gets paired up with men, and she's presumed to be dating. Like you're riding on a cart or you're paired up with someone of the opposite sex. And the presumption is you are a couple.
Married or dating.
So now we're wondering, do you have to introduce, like when we showed up to the Pinehurst, our lodging for the week, we were the fellow, the young chap who was introducing us, giving us our room keys, suddenly goes, I'm 25, I have no kids, and I have a medium interest in fighting. Now, which shocked, we knew we were in good hands when you're introducing yourself that way. Now, is something that needs to be added to the intro. We are absolutely not a couple. I don't know this guy.
I think
just
she
a
should.
friend.
I think she should, because then she's putting out the,
just laying down the
laying down,
right away.
and making it everybody in the group feel, understand that, hey, this is the situation. Because there's nothing worse than when you're playing golf with people you don't know, and you're wondering something about them, right? And
we
you're
are
like,
not a
well,
couple.
we're playing golf, we're spending 4 hours together, and I want to ask this question, but I'm not sure I can ask it. I feel like this spans a lot of different aspects of life. Like when you play golf with random people, you find yourself wanting to ask them questions, but being too uncomfortable to ask them. Like sometimes I want to be like, why do you look at the hole 50 times before you pull the trigger? Like
what's that doing for you?
Could you go down to like maybe twice?
What's the process?
Be okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions you want, but no, you need to keep it buttoned up. So we didn't have any encounters out there today. We did hear,
unsubstantiated rumor.
What? There's some tussles.
Plentiful tussles.
Even Pinehurst is not immune to the golf course tussling. Maybe they don't end up on these Instagram accounts, but we did hear tussle happens here and there. We heard there was an octogenarian tussle at the valet stand. There, you get apparently groups from New York and New Jersey, and it's always it's internecine tussling. It's within their own Ryder Cup events or 16-man events.
The person that told us this was like, we get tons of people from New York and New Jersey. They're drinking transfusions, and then just like willy-nilly threw Chicago in there, and it was such an unnecessary drive-by. Everybody knows the Midwesterners don't come down to fight.
These fights, I thought it was just a product of everybody having a phone and these kind of influencer accounts, but it's happening out there, even maybe more than caught on camera, according to anecdotal testimony at Pinehurst. So let's get on with a few emails.
I got one here.
What? All right, go ahead. SGSGolfAdvice@gmail.com.
All right.
What do you got?
0 kids, 29, loosely interested in fighting.
Loosely. Okay.
Have quite a dilemma. My girlfriend's sister is getting married in early 2024. She's doing a formal church wedding in the Carolinas, a smaller group, close family and friends at the end of January. Then in July, she's doing another quote unquote wedding.
Not formal church.
More of a big party reception, probably not even a service. The July wedding perfectly coincides with my home club's member guest. This member guest has been a week I look forward to every year. Upstate New York on one of the Finger Lakes. Have deemed it adult summer camp. Great weather, great vibe, good golf. I've been invited to the January wedding, but it has been floated out there that the July event will be more fun. And if I'm going to go to that one, that is the one I should attend. My question, do I have ground to stand on for accepting the wedding invitation for January and declining the summer one to play in the member guest? Thanks. You know.
Well, your phrasing there in the email seems to think he only has to go to one. Like because the way it was framed there said the January one won't be as fun, but if you're going to go to one, go to the July. So if he can get out, so he's married to he's married to the sister.
Girlfriend.
Oh, his girlfriend.
I think this comes down to one thing. I think this is, do you plan on marrying this woman?
Whose sister is getting married.
If you plan on marrying this woman, if like you are in this relationship and it's your plan to marry her, you absolutely have to go to both of these. If you're not sure, if you're like, you know what, like we just started dating, I think then you've got optionality. But if you're planning to marry her, you're going to be involved in family functions for the rest of your life, and they're going to bring up this wedding, they're going to bring up the party, and it's always going to be, old Billy went and played golf instead of going to this party.
I mean, can we also just put a ruling out on weddings that take more than one weekend? Like, I know the pandemic created specific circumstance where you had like a very small family wedding because you can do large groups and then you do a large party later. Like, that's totally excusable. But why are we taking two bites of the apple now all the time? Why? We'll just have the wedding or don't. You don't need to have a wedding and then have another wedding / party / bigger deal. Just do it or don't.
You're saying
you want to have your cake and eat it too. Is basically what you're saying.
2 days.
Yeah.
Like,
either you choose. You have the small wedding or you
days.
don't have a small wedding. But it seems like this person wants to have a small wedding, then also wants to have a big party.
So my brother-in-law, who just got married, had a small wedding on Friday night.
Yeah.
Just family.
Yeah.
Big party Saturday.
There you
That's
go.
okay?
I'm totally fine with that.
Because it was basically like a rehearsal dinner.
Yes.
Then,
Yeah. You don't need the January and July. No, that's not how. Like, come on, pick one, pick a week. Let's just end this practice. This is not golf advice. This is, adult life marriage advice. Like, let's stop this bullshit.
Well, the whole wedding thing has gotten out of control. All right, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy. These bachelor parties that are like 4 days,
we're going
3
to France,
days,
or we're going to
It's like, wait, what's going on? Like, the bachelor party was created as a 1-day thing.
Yep.
I'm all for having fun, but bachelor parties that are more than 2 days are insane. Everybody is so dead after 2 days that like the last day is like everybody's, I don't know. Whatever. End of rant.
And
then you get in your late 20s and early 30s, and you have like 8 bachelor parties in a year.
Well, we're past that now.
I know.
We're beyond that.
When I had to go back and do a bachelor party this year, I was like, oh fuck, I am not ready for this.
Not in condition. Going back to the email, I think you make a good point. What are your real intentions with
I think that's
the other point. I thought they were married already, and I was going to say, like, the member guest is every year. The wedding is once in a life, unless you're Greg Norman or somebody, you get married a bunch of times. You generally only get married once. So that's a one-time deal. The member guest will be there again next summer. And no matter how I empathize with the pain, it's a great weekend and you're missing it. I understand. But I generally think,
I think it's all about like
where you at with this girl,
your relationship too with like your future family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Is like you just got to be a participator early on.
Yep.
You can't go play golf in like an optional thing and skip the big family party.
Right. It's a good opportunity to get some intel. Also, maybe understand if this is the family I want to pursue a longer life with.
I mean, that's a good point.
Good intel gathering opportunity.
That's a great point.
Honestly.
You could learn some bugaboos. You could find some. You might be able to identify blind spots.
Yeah. All right, I got another one. This is from Michael. This is a good one. I want us to set some ground rules. Like, we could really kind of establish a guidebook coming out of this for people going forward. A couple months ago, I went out as a single to the local community and was paired with two older, probably late 60s ladies. Very pleasant and friendly, decent golfers, walkers, though one was struggling a bit. And we enjoyed a nice walk over the front nine. The sixth hole is the shortest par 4 with a water hazard crossing the fairway. From the blues, a 6-iron puts me safely short with an 8-iron or so left to the green. It's about a 220 carry and a lot of details there. Now, the better golfer, she shot 44-45. This is the women, the older women. Let's call her Mary, was coming off a birdie on 5 and pulls out driver. Now, I don't know all the yardages from the green tee, but it's probably 150 to the water and 170 to safely carry. I'm thinking this is an awful idea. She belts it. I see it take a big hop short of the water, and I'm 99% certain it bounces in. Both Mary and her friend believe they saw it on the far side of the river/pond. This hole runs parallel to a little creek that's 6 to 8 feet wide, but right where it went, it pools into a collection pond that's about 20 to 25 feet across. I won't characterize their eyesight, but I've never worn glasses, have caddied and played golf for 25 years, and am generally pretty damn good at spotting tee balls. I'm certain it's wet, but being generally a good guy and not wanting it to rain on Mary's parade coming off her birdie, I quietly helped to look for it with them for a few minutes rather than outright say, yeah, I saw it bounce on the side and never on the far side. It's definitely wet. We're playing fast. Side note, we're playing fast. No one is behind us for a few holes, so the search isn't slowing anyone down but us. Mary drops a few minutes and we carry on. So no huge dramatics to this situation, but my question is, if you are pretty certain a ball is OB, wet, unfindable, unplayable, do you come right out and say it or oblige your playing partners with a look?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I think it is up over there as a favorite, of course, when you think it might be findable. Circumstances of playing partners, a match, all the different variables. So I'm thinking we could put like a little handy guide together. When the title of the email is to look or not to look. In this situation, I think you got to break it to her, but he was trying to be nice. She was coming off a birdie and thought she'd cleared it. So when do you look? When do you not look? I think there's some different factors at play, right?
I hate looking for golf balls.
It's the worst, especially other people's golf balls, right?
I generally don't expect anybody to look for any of my golf balls.
Right.
And I don't like going to look for other people's golf balls, especially one that I know went in. I think I would just say it went in.
So this is interesting. When do you not look? When it's on the other, you're on the other side of the hole. Like if you tugged one left and they're looking around on the right.
Situation, right?
Depends on the situation.
Like
if it goes into waist high stuff and the odds are not good, you don't help. Right?
If you know somebody's like grinding for a score though, or like it's something that has stakes, I'll go help.
Yeah.
But when it's just a casual round, like we played today, and nobody was like.
It's hard to lose balls out here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's great.
It's so great.
Even amidst the toughs,
yeah.
It's hard to lose balls.
It's amazing, just in general, a golf course where like you hit it offline and you don't have to look for your golf ball.
No, it's great.
I hate looking for golf balls. It's like the worst part about golf. But anyways, I think like if you're playing for stakes, then you got to go like give an effort. Right?
I generally will be more inclined if I'm in a match to help an opponent look for. I think that's just don't be a dick. Don't be like over competitive like a D-bag. I'll be more inclined to look if it's my opponent's ball.
If you got into the Ryder Cup, you could win the Jacqueline Award.
That's right. I'm going for the Aon plate. So that's one. That's one where I would generally look a little harder if I'm in a match against someone. Maybe that makes me, not a alpha killer like Michael Jordan. But I think that's just the way you do it in golf. You look for an opponent's ball.
I think it's fine never to look for somebody else's ball. It's theirs. It's I.
What about if you're the guest of a host? The host's ball is gone. Like that's a different one. Are you trying to help there? You're at a nice place.
Well, it depends if you want to go back or not, right? Like if you're just checking one off and you're like, I may never come back here. I think it's okay.
I think you should generally, in that sense, maybe give a little extra effort. Maybe walk over a few paces to help him look for a ball. If you're being, you're being taken around or someone, invited you to a thing. What about rules for when to abandon the search? Like, there's always the person that says, it's okay, just move on. I'll drop. But like, would you say like, You wait and linger an extra 30 seconds to show if you really care, or do you really get out of there when they say it's okay? Like, how adamant do they have to be to move on, get the hell out of here? I'm dropping one, but you're still looking, man. Like, do you really want me to leave? That's always a tricky situation.
One of my favorite things to do when I know a ball is gone, but I haven't just said it's gone. Where I know that we're searching hopelessly, is I just like kind of like aimlessly walk around. Like I'm not even like in the area. Like I know it's gone, and I'll just like aimlessly walk around. It's like actually kind of like an amazing thing when you think about it. Now that I'm thinking about it more, is like these search parties, these like people are looking for balls, and how people just like follow people around, right?
Right.
Like, it's not like there's no organization of like just combing an area, people just follow each other around. Like you think about like when
the search and rescue, like Coast Guard or something, like we're taking this quadrant,
like organized in the way golf ball searches go. It's just like people like literally just follow each other around.
It's most likely stepping on the ball, making it harder to find. But this is something like we need to come up with like a real like a treaty. Every golfer, common rules that we understand and abide by. Because there's so many gray areas with this. I
think honestly, the easiest, best thing is that nobody help look for golf balls, and it's just on the person that hit it there. I think that would be the cleanest, easiest thing.
But so often, I gotta say, like 50% of the time, the helper is the one who finds it. This would create just chaos.
I think it would make the game a little bit more interesting, a little spicier.
We need
hit it there. You gotta go find it.
We need a real like guidebook. All right. So it just depends on if you're a host. If it's definitely like you're 90% sure it's all waist high stuff, don't bother. If you're on the other side of the hole, I wouldn't do it. But yeah,
hey, I got an email about a drop that I accidentally deleted.
Yeah.
And somebody had something in there. They had some nickname for themselves that they signed off with that I forgot.
Yeah.
I accidentally hit the wrong button. You know when you archive stuff on your phone?
Yeah, you can't.
You can never find it.
Right.
I think it's so if that sounds like your email, send it back in.
Okay.
All right. I got one here.
All right.
I'm 35, no kids, and I will fight anyone after a few fights. I'm a decent level amateur golfer based out of Ireland, but as Andy would put it, my 10-year peak is now behind me. I played elite level amateur golf for many years, but even though I don't play in many competitive events anymore, I still can get the ball around. I'm not sure if it is the same in America, but if you didn't grow up playing golf from a young age, eventually every male in Ireland discovers golf around their late 20s and 30s, or early 30s. It becomes their competitive outlet as their aging bodies, battered and bruised, are no longer able for soccer, rugby, or Irish sports, GAA, and hurling. What's hurling? Do you just throw something?
No, it's like I don't want to be disrespectful to it. This is probably reductive. It's kind of like field hockey, I think, for boys. I think it's Irish only. All my ancestors played it, and
you would think hurling's you just spin around and throw something.
It's like I think it's like field hockey. You got these like sticks, like little curly cues on the end.
I'm still gonna envision.
Hurling.
Like the disc,
you throw it.
The disc.
Yeah.
This is great for me, as all my school friends who are now mid-30s all of a sudden consider golf to be cool. I feel like this is the same way in America. We play it, watch it, bet on it, talk about it. But now we finally have progressed to booking our first golf trip. 8, possibly 9 of us are flying out to Turkey next March for 5 days, 5-star hotel, all-inclusive, nightclub on site. It will be wild. We have 3 rounds of golf booked on typical resort courses, one of which was where Hatton won when they played under the lights at the Turkish Airlines Open.
I remember that.
Is that the one that's got the tee box on the roof?
On the roof of a condo. Yeah. That's all I remember about the Turkey event too. Tiger went there a few times. Yeah, it's got the tee box on the.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, the variance in golfing ability between these 8-9 guys is immense. It goes from me to a few guys who might have played only a handful of times in their life, and all levels in between. My question is, knowing that Americans have more types of money games than we are familiar with, do you have any suggestions for a format that will keep everyone interested and keep competition close over 5 days and 54 holes of golf?
This is a big question.
is a big question.
There was a lot of details about him being an Irish guy who likes to fight and drink pints.
All right,
we got all
number
that.
one.
A lot of ways you can go.
Skins is awesome.
Okay.
Just in general, over 3 days, have a pool. Anybody can get a skin. Like all it requires is one shot on a par 3.
Yep.
Like all it requires is one great shot.
Yep.
It's very
It levels the field.
Yeah, it's very fair for lots of people. I think that's like, and if you want to have more layered on top of it, it's just like a great add-in to any golf trip is skins.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like because then it's like, you know what? I played like complete shit, but I hit a great shot on this par 3 and I made it 2 and I won some money. Other game that I think you could go with some sort of match play game and just pair people smart.
You gotta be
yes, you have to be smart about pairing and like put the really bottom player with you. You're a good player, right? Yep. You know, work around the handicaps. Get guys that are like similar skills playing each other in matches, right?
This has to be done. I mean, this is critical. It's critical that you have like matches that are like approximately competitive. Like it's just in the same ballpark. We had a couple bad missed matches in Myrtle Beach, and it's just like no fun for anyone. You feel bad for the people. You're like 7 up through 8 or 9. It's just bad. So you got to really care.
You got to ABCD players, right?
Yep.
And if you do that, then you could also do just games between 2 groups, right? You could have your group 1, group 2, and you could do like a 2 best ball or something, or you could split them, like split the groups in half if you're worried about any tomfoolery, and have that. I don't know. Those are a couple suggestions. I think like honestly, like if you're an 18, you should never play. If you're worried about money, you should never play a scratch player in Scotch or Vegas or anything like that. They're gonna turn you sideways, right? Like it's just like those games have like things in them that just like reward better players. Like I love playing Scotch against like a 10 handicap. That's like my dream, because it's just a game that favors somebody who's steady, hits greens, and makes birdies. Right.
All right. Let's do anything else for that one. I mean, it's a big universe out there. I mean,
if you got suggestions, throw in the YouTube comments.
Just make sure you're lining up skill sets, or at least 2-man skill sets.
We should start sending out old inventory to get out of our shipping department to best YouTube comments.
All right, we can do that. Absolutely. We had our new, not newish, friend of the program working for us on top of the business affairs of Friday, said he's donating some of our old inventory.
We have to,
like the runner up to the Super Bowl team that didn't win, that send their shirts to a third world country. Apparently that's happening to some various fried egg and shotgun star merchants.
I think I mentioned,
it's like, what?
I think I mentioned how we had a little bit of a crisis at our logistics center.
Yeah.
One of the solutions, one of the many solutions was some of the old inventory needs to just get out of here, and it can't be donated in the United States. Just got to get all the way out.
It seems like that we're in that. There's going to be some kid out there with a boy from Bratislava shirt or something like that, or I play for protect the points.
Do you think Sapo's done? Do you think he's got any more runs in him?
No, of course he does.
We got one more.
He's impossible to kill. The guy's been playing on tour since the 90s.
He was so bad this year. I feel like we lost our low Rory competition.
You wonder if he did all he wanted to do. He climbed the mountaintop, medaled, he changed nationalities and medaled. Like what is there left for me to conquer in this game? And so he's trying to struggle with that. What more is there for him to do? Sort of like Sergio after he won his Masters, never showing up to another major. It's like, what more is there for Rory to do? Anything else? Golf advice? No. I had another one. Let's move on. We got to go. Check out some stuff at Pinehurst. Excited about that. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Recap everything. You'll be back in the shed. I'll be home. We'll have a good full recap of Liv, Zozo, and everything else.
Can't wait to be back in the shed. When was the last? I guess we recorded on Tuesday night.
Well, you were like on your way to a red eye, and I I had to like throw everything in my car to get down here. But
God, I've
Apparently-
recorded like once in the shed in October.
apparently, a good episode. People enjoyed Wednesday. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys on Monday.